Hey everybody, it's Mr. Perez here. I'm going to be showing you guys exactly how you are supposed to be doing your reading activity that's going to be posted onto your Google Slides for the week. A lot of your activities look just like this, so be sure you pay very close attention of how it's supposed to be done. So with that being said, when you get to this slide right here, you should see these two different texts that you can read. When you get here, whenever it's blue and underlined, that's when you can click onto that. So I'm going to click onto that and then click that and it pops up this. There's the first one. Pop up the next one. Oh, the next one is this one right here. And then there's a handout that it says, like right here, it says, provide a statement that integrates information from both texts with the handout. This is the handout. So I drew this handout right over here so that way I could write it on here instead of having to click so many times. So pay very close attention. So it says on here that you are supposed to read, it said read these two texts, provide a statement that integrates. Integrates means together, so you're going to be putting together what you know, information from both of these texts. And then you'll do that with this handout. When you get finished, you are supposed to fill this in and then share it with me at this email address right here, luis1.perez@cms.k12.nc.us. Okay? So with that being said, I have both of these texts pulled up. I'm going to go through these and I'm going to show you what you're supposed to do. So the first one, it says life cycles. What is an ecosystem? So I'm going to read through this. It says an ecosystem is made up of all living and non-living things in an area. This includes all of the plants, animals, and other living things that make up the communities of life in an area. An ecosystem also includes non-living materials, for example, water, rocks, soil and sand. A swamp, a prairie, an ocean, and a forest are examples of ecosystems. An ecosystem usually contains many different kinds of life. A grassland, for example, is an ecosystem that contains more than just grass. It includes other plants, mammals, insects, earthworms, and many tiny living things in the soil. Okay? Scroll down, you'll see that there's the different, this is just a diagram showing you the three roles. This is the food chain and how the food chain and the food web are kind of connected. It says the graphic shows how a single food chain is linked in a group of food chains. Together they make a food web. Graphic from the Encyclopedia Britannica. All right, it says each living thing in an ecosystem has a role to play as a producer, a consumer, or a decomposer. Green plants are producers. They make their own food through a process called photosynthesis. Animals, including humans, are consumers. They eat or consume plants or other animals. Bacteria and other living things that cause decay are decomposers. Decomposers break down the waste products and dead tissues of plants and animals. They return nutrients to the soil where new plants grow. The way that producers, consumers, and decomposers provide nutrients for one another is called a food chain. And then feeding levels. A food chain describes the sequence in which matter and energy move through the feeding levels of an ecosystem. The levels of a food chain are essentially the same across all ecosystems. The first level is the producers. After that is the consumers. Sometimes consumers are further divided into primary consumers, secondary consumers, and tertiary consumers. The final link in all food chains is decomposers, which break down dead organisms and natural waste. The consumers at the top feeding level of a food chain are called top predators. They have no predators. Instead, their population is controlled through competition. So this is showing you the energy flow. So this is the tertiary consumers. So this is like the top consumers, secondary consumers, primary consumers, and the producers. So the producers feed the rabbits feed the snakes feed the hawks. Okay? So with that, it was mainly talking about the first one. So this is the first text. It's called Life Cycles. So I'm going to write life cycles up here. So whenever you guys are typing this in, you'll type life cycles up here where it says text 1, and then you're going to give me some details that are what this is about. So this is talking about a food chain. It talked about food webs. So I'm going to put food chain / food web. Talking about producers, consumers, and decomposers. So those are like the main things that this was talking about. So I'm going to now jump into the next passage, which is called Saving Snow Leopards. So I'm going to write that over here. Saving, and this is where you will type yours. Saving snow leopards. Okay. So I'm going to read this one over, and I'm going to see what this one's mainly about. Mountain ghost. The snow leopard is rarely seen by humans. The mysterious cat lives in 12 Asian countries among the world's tallest mountains. The snow leopard is much smaller than a tiger, the lion, the leopard of Africa and Asia. It weighs as much as a cheetah, but is shorter and stockier. The cat's compact size and thick fur help keep it warm in glacier-chilled air. Dark markings enable its light gray coat, camouflaging it in its rocky terrain. Big paws make padding over snow easy. An extra long tail provides balance on steep, rugged ground. You might think that the snow leopard might be safe living in such harsh, remote places, but it faces multiple threats from humans. The cat has lost important stretches of habitat. A habitat is a place that fills an animal's needs, mainly food, shelter, and mates. Mining, wars, and overgrazing by farm animals have led to this loss of habitat. Protecting the head. The loss of habitat has caused a food shortage. Snow leopards eat wild goats and sheep. When the farm animals eat too much vegetation, wild plant eaters can't find enough food to stay healthy. Females don't have enough babies. Over time, the number of wild goats and sheep go down, and snow leopards have less to eat. Then the big cats eat livestock, and the herders kill the leopards to protect livelihoods. Agencies are working to save cats and help herders at the same time. Some agencies give herders wire mesh and wood to keep the snow leopards from entering their stables at night. Some pay herders for the animals they lose to snow leopards. In exchange, the herders stop killing snow leopards and leave more room and plants for the wild goats and sheep. Are the conservation programs working? Researchers estimate that only 3,500 to 7,500 snow leopards are alive today, but they need more reliable ways to count leopards before they will know. That's where scientists Dr. Kyle McCarthy are needed. He traveled to Kyrgyzstan to test ways to estimating snow leopards' numbers. He camped in the mountains with Dr. Jennifer McCarthy, his wife, and other co-workers. They saw no leopards, and they hadn't expected to. Instead, they looked for evidence the cat left behind, to find something related to them: poops, scraps, claw marks, and pee, Dr. Kyle McCarthy says. The group collected scat poop from DNA analysis. Along the waste material of digestion, scat contains cells from the animal's own bodies, DNA, and is material inside those cells, like fingerprints, can identify an individual animal. The team uses automatic cameras. The scientists place motion, heat-sensitive cameras along the mountain ridge. When a snow leopard neared one of the camera traps, the camera snapped its picture. Each snow leopard spot's pattern is different. Researchers compared patterns in the photos to identify cats. The cameras had taken photos of 15 different snow leopards at the time at 2 study sites. A close encounter. Shannon Cackle, Dr. McCarthy's graduate assistant, has searched for snow leopards in Tajikistan, where he almost saw one. I was hiking along a ridgeline in the late afternoon and came around the corner of a rock, outcropping a find of stewing, fresh kill site with snow leopard signs all around. Karen Cackle says, I could see and hear where the cat had knocked some rocks loose as it ran away from me. But even though I waited until it was nearly dark and I never saw the cat. Most people will never see a snow leopard, yet it has a right to exist. Dr. Kyle McCarthy says it's too magnificent to think about losing. So it says is a graphic organizer to show the threats to snow leopards: illegal hunting. Snow leopards are hunted for their furs and wood and bones. Loss of habitat. People and livestock move into snow leopard range. Loss of prey. Fewer prey are available to snow leopards when wild sheep and goats are hunted. Livestock compete with wild sheep and goats for food, and number of wild animals is reduced. Killed by herders. Sheep and goat herders kill the leopards when the leopards eat livestock. Lack of effective protection. The areas in which the snow leopards live are too large to protect. Many countries cannot afford to pay for protection. Lack of awareness and support. Herders do not understand the importance of snow leopards to an ecosystem. All right, so I'm going to stop this here because I'm probably running out of video time. So click on to the next video. Go.